What's good? What's good, people? Let's go full screen first, man. So, how you doing, you guys? It's your boy Cam, football frame of mind. Welcome to the time machine, man. So, we're going back in time to the 1970s, going through all the NFL's best games, best players, fantastic seasons, coaches, everything. We're going through all of that, draft classes, everything through the time machine. So, I want all of y'all to like and subscribe to the channel. Check out the Villain Sports Media channel, man. Check the ticker below to check out all of our other platforms if you're not into the YouTube thing. But we're going to continue this with the 1976 season, man. So, 1976, as we do on all of this time machine, we talk about the champion last. All right. So let's go with the MVP of the season, man. MVP of the league in 1976 was Burt Jones, right? So Burt Jones has been on I wouldn't say rapid maturation process, but he's picking up steam when it comes to being one of the league's best young quarterbacks, man. And I would be honest that this was his peak. Well, not peak. I won't say that. I won't say peak. But then yeah, I'll say peak. This was the peak of his career, whether it be injuries or things like that, which I think it was because that's what my boy Brandon was saying. Um, this was the peak for him. Like this was his not going I think last season 75 was his coming out party. I think that was his coming out party. Like, hey, we 10-4. I'm here to stay. I can take my game to another level. That's what I see, right? And the fact that he was able to not only be good, but get better the next season, even in win totals, they were still good. But he was able to take it to a whole nother level, right? Leading the league in passing, not leading the league in touchdowns, but touchdown ratio is pristine, perfect, man. This is kind of what you want. That's how you win games, not turning the ball over, man. I look at a lot of quarterbacks within this era, man. 20 plus interception season. And they wonder why they wasn't winning those Super Bowls against like the Dolphins and then the Steelers and then the Raiders and things like that. That's why they weren't winning. Because they turned the ball over too damn much. It's like those teams knew that they were going to get opportunities to take the ball away, and all the offense got to do is just keep scoring, whether it be three, whether it be touchdowns. Like they're going to be able to do damage, man. And that's what it is, man. That's how a lot of teams, lost Super Bowls, right? So, but Burt Jones, man, this was his best season period, right? I think 75 was like, I'm here. Y'all better pay attention. 76 was, all right, I'm the guy. So I'm going to get me one of them Super Bowls. Didn't happen, unfortunately, but this was like, hey, I'm here right now. I'm the best young quarterback right now, you know? And for a season, he definitely was. And don't get me wrong, he had some other good seasons, but you can't it's hard to goddamn, I'm trying to think about it. It's hard to think about winning per se without your starting quarterback, man. And that's just tough. That's just what it was, man. 78, I'm pretty sure they had a good team, but you can't win without your starting quarterback, man. You cannot win without that guy. And it sucks, man. It sucks. But for one season, he was the best quarterback in the league. And they got everything they could get out of him, man. And he was on the pace to be one of the greatest quarterbacks in league history, man. I mean, you win MVP and you just think it's going to happen some more, right? And then most of the time you keep being pretty good, right? But yeah. So, but Burt Jones is your MVP of 1976, man. Sammy White, second round pick receiver, wins rookie of the year. Just a cool 10 touchdowns, man, 900 yards, man. He was taking the top off the defense, got a Pro Bowl berth, everything. So he's good, man. Mike Haynes, first round pick, fifth overall, Arizona State. One of the greatest players to ever play the game. I mean, 9 Pro Bowls, two-time All Pro, Hall of Fame player of the 80s, right? He was good. He started off with New England, right? New England, you know, had a pretty good season in 1976, man. I mean, they got to the playoffs, man. They were top 5 offense and top 15 defense. So they had a good season. And when you got a rookie getting 8 interceptions, that's a good player to build around, you know. So he did good. Burt Jones, Offensive Rookie of the Year. We talked about that. Jack Lambert winning Defensive Player of the Year, right? At 24 years old. That's crazy. That's how you know how good he was, right? Defensive Player of the Year at 24 is diabolical, man. Fumble recoveries, sacks, interceptions. He did so good, man. Like he was really, really good. Really good. So then, let's get into some stats. Let's get into some more stats, man. Let's get into some stats, man. So those are your award winners for the year. Let's get into some stats, bro. Let's break this down a little bit more. So Fran Tarkenton, and what would start to kind of slow his career down a little bit, but still effective, still a scrambler, right? Still a scrambler, sorta, but still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Jim Hart, taking full advantage of Don Coryell's offense and just continues to pass the ball, like just throw the ball around. He is having fun with this shit, and it's working. Now, obviously, not so much, right? Like we're gonna get into some names on here when we get into the standings a little bit, right? But um, I gotta talk about Ken Stabler, man. Ken Stabler probably should have won MVP. He had a case for it. The Raiders were very good. He was very good. Interceptions are a little high, but damn it, he was balling out, man. Passer rating looking good. Like, I mean, for real, he got more touchdowns than Burt, right? Yards per attempt, yards per game, passer rating. So he had a shot. I just think Burt Jones was a little bit more crisp in terms of everything. Like all of it put together, he was just a little bit more crisp, man. But Ken Stabler was in his damn bag in 76, man. He's still 31 too. Roger Staubach, obviously, but Roger Staubach is like 30 at this point because he had missed some time because of military service and stuff. So he didn't get a shot too. But Dan Fouts is awakened. He's awakening a little bit. And you're starting to see him figure shit out too. Right? Bob Greasy, 31, right? The team is a little older. So he having to do a little bit more than he used to, right? But Pastorini is okay. Spurrier is now with a team we'll talk about. You see Jim Zorn, right, with a team we'll talk about. Um, let's see, Billy Kilmer, still good, still playing. Terry Bradshaw, not the best season, but don't matter. He's a two-time NFL champion, so he's got a chance to figure that shit out. Pat Hayden, who's a seventh round draft pick, who became USC's athletic director, got a lot of playing time in '76. Um, in fact, he started 7 games and they won 5 of those games, right? Including making it to the playoffs. So, you know, so hold up, I gotta see something real quick. So Chuck Knox has some good defenses, bro. So 75, they were first in defense. 74, they was first in defense. 73, they were top 5 in defense. So when he got there, he changed their whole offense. Everything. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. That's some good ass defenses, man. That's crazy, bro. They had a string of really good defenses, bro. That's pretty fucking cool. All right. Like I said, Joe Namath is kind of phasing out of the league. Joe Theismann still doing his thing. Shout out to Richard Todd. Okay, so Richard Todd, for a while, was the highest drafted Alabama quarterback for a little bit. All right, so Richard Todd, I want to say, was the highest drafted quarterback. Man, was it Mac Jones? Or am I missing somebody? Because Mac Jones went in the first round. Tua went in the first round. So maybe it was Tua. Because I don't remember nobody else being. Because McCarron was a late round draft pick, man. But for a while, though, Richard Todd was the highest quarterback taken from Alabama in a long time. That was the highest they had been in a long time. Like Joe Namath was like second overall, but that was 68 or 60 something. But Richard Todd turned out to be the highest draft pick at quarterback from Alabama for a long time. Like this is 76. So he didn't have like the best success. He wasn't like the best, like, you know, like in fact you could probably call him a bust, honestly. But I think he played long enough to the point where the bust label kind of just becomes journeyman at that point. So I think he's just a journeyman man at that point. But I mean, he did okay. He just interceptions were just terrible. Like he just was not an accurate quarterback, man. But they needed one. They needed one because this is you're looking at Joe Namath starting to be out of the league at this point because he's terrible. So you needed to go in a different direction at this point, right? So you go into that, shout out to Richard Todd though. This ain't no shit on Richard Todd shit, but yeah. So Roman Gabriel, right, former MVP of the '60s. This is one of his last seasons, man. Like the next year, he's just a backup. But he do what he gotta do, man, and play some games. Earl Morrow, 42, still with the Dolphins, doing his thing. Let's see. Anybody else in there? Yeah, Sam White. Yeah, Sam White. Um, he was with Cincinnati for a while. Got them to the Super Bowl. So, yeah. And I think he played with Cincinnati, quarterback too. Yeah. Yeah, he played quarterback too. So, yeah, Harold Carmichael on there. Excuse me. So let's talk about some rushing, man. So OJ is still really good, man. He's the leading rusher in the league for Buffalo. And Buffalo was so bad. So bad, bro. They were terrible. 2-12, man. They were bad, bro. Bad, 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 man. Bad. They were not good. But OJ was good. Walter Payton begins his assault on the Russian record with a fantastic sophomore season where he gets 1,000 yards and 13 touchdowns, setting the stage for what would become one of the greatest careers in NFL history. Man, Sweetness was perfect, man, perfect, man. So, but you start to see, man, running backs start to get real good, bro. Like running backs have been good, but boy, you're starting to see some shit, man. So Archie Griffin, if you don't know Archie Griffin, he was the first round pick of 76, but he also is the only man to this day with two Heisman's on his resume, man. One of the greatest college football players ever. And honestly, I don't think he got a fair shot in the NFL for real. I don't think so. Um, I mean, he's a smaller back, so I'm pretty sure that was kind of his detriment at the time. Speaking of that, you got you got running backs in the league that are 6'2", 200. Walter Payton was 200 pounds at 5'10". Lawrence McCutcheon was 6'1", 205. So Franco Harris was 6'2", 230. Chuck Foreman was 6'2", 200 pounds. So like you had Rocky Blyer was 200 pounds. So I think his size was his detriment, and that's why he didn't get a lot of shine for real. But I do think that when you think about Archie Griffin, you think about a guy that should have got some more shine, man. He should have got a little way more shine than that. Although he did play in the Super Bowl in 1981, but he didn't get a fair shot, man, in the NFL, man. But nonetheless, he's one of the greatest football players to ever play the game. Period. College, pro, combination doesn't matter. He's one of the greatest players to ever play, and we're not gonna take that away from him, man. So, Chuck Muncie, uh, 71 touchdowns, man. Started with New England, third overall pick from Cal. Um, what do you do? Second in the Heisman voting, All American. So he was pretty good. Um, John Riggins, obviously, this is his first season in Washington, which would become the beginning of a Hall of Fame career. Um, I would want to say I don't know who's the coach at this time. Is it still George Allen, right? But we getting into an era when we get to the 80s. We're gonna talk about Joe Gibbs, man. But George Allen is still there, and he's still trying to get that first Super Bowl. Um, but time has passed, man. The league has gotten better. Really good. Really good, man. Like I said, man, the league was just big backs, man. Little backs weren't necessarily the thing, you know. It changes, of course, as time goes on, right? One good small back changes it for everybody. It's like shit, I need some of that. And that's what happens, man. That's what happens. So um gotta love it. Gotta love it. So but Franco Harris leads the league in touchdowns rushing, 14 yards per carry is Don Calhoun, but I don't really count that because he ain't start for real. But out of the starters, Delvin Williams, let's see, he ended up with a couple good seasons. Right, 76 was one of his best Pro Bowler, so that was one of his best seasons. Lydell Mitchell, Baltimore, he had a couple good seasons as a running back, 75, 76, 77. So he was pretty good. Let's see, Otis Armstrong. I've been seeing that name a little bit. So he had a couple of good seasons. And he was all pro, first team, right? So probably in AFC, NFC. So okay, so yeah, so pretty good. Rocky Blyer with 1,000. Like that's that's crazy production. Crazy production out your backfield. Rocky Blyer with 1,000 and Franco Harris with 1,000. Crazy, crazy production, bro. Like I said, man. So some of them names, man. Let's get into receiving, man. So little uptick, man, in receiving yards. So Baltimore, Roger Carr, first round pick of the 74 draft, benefited from having Burt Jones. I mean, shit, you got a good quarterback. Let me just do what I do. And he had one of the best seasons you could have at receiver, man. To get 1,000 yards in 14 games, man, with 25, 20, almost 26 yards a catch, is pretty nasty, man. That means they couldn't cover him. Short, long, intermediate, sideline, screen plays, it don't matter. He was getting busy, and he was getting busy on everybody. So you gotta love that shit. Love that shit, man. Cliff Branch ended up winning, getting first team All Pro though, because he had 12 touchdowns. Right, that was so close in everything. So I'm pretty sure that was one of the closest like All Pro races ever. Right, Roger Carr beat him by 1 yard. He beat him in yards per reception, but Cliff Branch had more touchdowns, but they tied in yards per game. Nasty work, man. Charlie Joyner obviously spent time in Houston in the AFL. He spent time with Cincinnati, but now he's in San Diego, right? Now, don't get it twisted. Don Coryell's not there yet. But when he gets there, was that 1979? That was his first season. When he gets there, you see what happens to Charlie Joyner. His numbers go up. Now, if he had him earlier when he got to San Diego, that changes everything. Like he would be a lot younger, been a lot faster. He'd have been everything you needed him to be, right? But he's a little older, so he didn't get the full effect of it. But damn it, he used it all. He used the best of his ability, right? So let's talk about Drew Pearson. We didn't talk about him enough. Drew Pearson really was a solid receiver, and I feel like if they had 16 games, like they would eventually switch to, I think he would have had at least maybe one, like three, four, five, five. Yeah, four, five, maybe. Yeah, 5 or 6 1,000 yard seasons, I would say that. And then he would be talked about a lot more, man. But still an all pro, still everything. We got Steve Largent on here, right? And like I said, we're going to talk about the newest teams that have been added to the NFL in a little bit, right? But got to talk about Billy White Shoes Johnson, uh, the inventor, the innovator of the touchdown dance, because he got busy in that end zone. When he got there, he let you know. So, like I said, not the greatest career, but legendary when it comes to end zone celebrations. cold. 15th round pick, and he carved out a career like this. Yeah, yeah. Hall of Fame. He's a all team, bro. Yeah, all team 70s player and 80s player, bro. So I wonder if he was a kick returner too. Was he a kick returner? He sure was. He was a damn good one too. Yeah, he was a damn good one. Couple of touchdowns, couple of punt return touchdowns, bro. So yeah, he was getting busy, bro. He was getting busy. So of course, Ahmad Rashad becomes a four-time Pro Bowler throughout this time, man. Using his change of scenery, man. He obviously was traded to Buffalo. My grandpa had said this because he changed his name from Robert Moore to Ahmad Rashad. Probably a religious name change. And I guess St. Louis didn't like that, which was stupid because they drafted him fourth overall. Made no sense. Fuck you worried about his name for. But that was the time frame. Ugly time frame. But we ain't gonna get into all of that, man. But he made the most of his change of scenery, man. And he did really good with Minnesota, man. And that changed him into one of those ones, man. So he's on the list now. Um, like I said, man, Harold Carmichael still being his alien self, doing good. Paul Warfield, right? Paul Warfield now returns to Cleveland, where he started his career out in the 60s. After a year off in the World Football League that didn't last very long. But he did his thing. He did his thing, man. And that was pretty cool to see. So we still got Charlie Sanders being one of the best tight ends of his generation. Um, I'm trying to see. I think I've seen Dave Casper on here somewhere. Yeah, Dave Casper continuing to be one of the greatest tight ends of his generation, right? He's at the peak of his powers, including all pro seasons and four straight seasons from 76 to 79, well, to 80 when he got traded to Houston. But that's pretty fucking awesome. So, yeah, man. Um, that's pretty damn good. And shout out Chuck Foreman, man, for not only being one of the best running backs in the history of the game, but being one of the more underrated dual threat running backs because 73 catches is crazy for the running back, right? Like he was doing work out the backfield, right? So, and he went to Miami too. So he's all about the U. So his son was Jay Foreman. That's pretty interesting. Wow, that's interesting. Jay Foreman had a really interesting career. Like I said, he was good for a minute, man. Houston obviously just started, but he made the most out of that opportunity being on an expansion team. Um, he was good. He was good. He carved out a pretty good career, man. But I remember playing with him on Madden a lot. He was pretty good. You pick him up in free agency, man. When you're trying to rebuild your team, he pretty much always gets a Pro Bowl because he's gonna tackle everything. So yeah, that's pretty good. That's tight. I didn't know that. All right, so let's get into some defense, man. Let's get into some defense. So interception leader is Monte Jackson, second overall pick, San Diego State. Um, so this is his sophomore season. He's an all pro with 10 interceptions and 3 touchdowns. So guess what? Don't throw his way because he's gonna score on you too. So they didn't learn their lesson. And he's a Super Bowl champion too. So gotta love that. Gotta love that. Right? Tom Jackson. We talked about him in the last episode. 7 interceptions from the linebacker position is crazy. And no Pro Bowl. That makes no sense. That makes no sense at all. Let's see. So then we got Roger Worley with 4 at 29. Let's see. Charlie Waters with 3. He was good with the Cowboys. Uh, Mel Renfro, 35. He's still doing his thing. Lynn Barney, 31. Yeah, Willie Buchanan, Jack Ham, Paul Krause with 2. So yeah. Let's see some sacks, man. So Coy Bacon, unofficial, sacks unofficial yet. But according to the numbers, he had 21 and a half sacks. 21 and a half. And at this point, you know, like he ain't getting no love. He with the Rams. He with the Rams getting 11 sacks, 11, 10, right? And then get 21 at 34 years old, man. And I don't think he was drafted. He wasn't drafted at all. But he was on the Rams in 69, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. And that was Roman Gabriel's MVP season. And I think they still had Deacon Jones as well, right? So yeah, man. Coy Bacon, man. That's what's up. 21 and a half sacks, man. He just kept going. Washington, he was pretty good, right? I would venture to say Coy Bacon was probably one of the greatest undrafted players ever, man. If I'm seeing this right, no draft, no nothing, 26 years old. So they just signed him out of Jackson State, and he was one of the best undrafted players ever, man. That's crazy. See, that's why we go through the time machine, bro. That's why we go through the time machine to really see things that nobody talks about. I've never heard about Coy Bacon at all. And that's probably because sacks weren't official. But now you watch this, you know about Coy Bacon, man. 21 and a half sacks, man, in 1976. Unofficially led the league. Alan Page with 18. Tom Hart, man, 32 with 16, right? He had 17 and 72, right? So he's a San Francisco 49ers legend, right? He had a lot of production there. Jackie Youngblood continuing to do Jackie Youngblood things. I mean, like, and that's not even his best season yet. But oh boy, he's going to get there. And he's picking up steam too, man. 150 sacks, bro. That's crazy. Claude Humphrey fighting through some rough teams, coming back from a knee injury in 75 to get 14 sacks, man. Um, really good. And he ain't even done yet. That's the thing. He ain't done yet. He ain't done. John Dutton, he had a lot of sacks one season. Yeah, 75. He had 17. And then after that, he just kind of fell off a little bit. But he had a lot. Yeah, Matuzak, he's on Oakland now. And he got 9. Yeah, Bob Bell, Randy Gradishier. We talked about him. Me, Joe Green, 30 years old, 2-time Super Bowl champion now, right? So he's pretty good. We're gonna get into those names. Leroy Selman, remember that name? Remember that name. Let's see. Anybody else that got a little shine? Merlin Olsen still playing 36. Shout out to Merlin Olsen, man, Utah State. Um, he was really good. So, all right. So now that we've gotten through the award winners, we've gotten through the stats, let's talk about the standings, man. Let's talk about what's changed in the NFL in 1976, man. We could talk about rules and stuff like that, but that's not too deep down the rabbit hole, but that's definitely deep down the rabbit hole, man. But let's talk about the standings, man. So we have two new teams in the NFL this year, right? 76 begins the NFL journey of two pretty good franchises nowadays, right? But let's talk about them. So the NFL in 1976 welcomes the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Seattle Seahawks, both expansion teams and both garbage. Gotta be honest, they both was bad. One was worse than the other one, though. The Buccaneers was rough. Oh my God, the Buccaneers were so bad, man. Seahawks at least got 2 wins that season. So let's start with Seahawks, right? So the Seahawks, um, Lloyd Nordstrom is the principal owner. He was a principal owner for 12 seasons, um, and saw them through some success and saw them through some failures, man. But saw them through their successful 80s runs, as the league expanded more and they end up getting the wild card and things like that. So they had some success under Lloyd Nordstrom, man, but definitely not the success that they would ultimately have under Paul Allen. So, but Lloyd Nordstrom saw them through their infancy and their NFL journey, and 76 was okay. I mean, Jack Patera saw them through some tough times, some winning seasons, but the wild card wasn't available at that particular time. So they couldn't really get in there, right? And he ended up getting fired, but he saw them through some rough times, man. And he built them up, and that's basically what happened with the Seahawks, man. But I want to go a little bit deeper. I want to go a little bit deeper into like their schedule and stuff, right? So fitting that one of their wins this season was against a team that lost all of their games, and that was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then fitting that they win against the Falcons, who also did not do very good that season, right? Um, they got destroyed by the 49ers. They got not destroyed. I wouldn't say that. They didn't get destroyed by them, but they got destroyed by Washington, the Cowboys, the Lions. They actually beat the Falcons pretty good. They didn't even beat Tampa Bay that good. The Saints beat them bad, and the Saints were terrible. But shout out to Hank Stram, though. After winning Super Bowl, I want to say Super Bowl 4. Still wanting to coach, man. Still wanting to coach and still wanting to do his thing, man. But nonetheless, the Seattle Seahawks. Let's get back into them. That's a couple things I wanted to talk about, though. So you look at Seattle at this point, right? And I have to mention some players that would become Seattle Seahawks legends, and some would be run for political office, right? But we got to talk about some important players within Seattle's like early history, right? And one of those players was quarterback Jim Zorn. Quarterback Jim Zorn uh, Not the well, I'm not gonna say not the biggest because that's actually he's actually taller than I thought he was, right? But one of the more important players within the history of their team, right? And he was good, and he saw them through some tough years, including being an All Pro a couple times, man, Offensive Player of the Year, right? He was really, really good, man, like underrated good, you know. And for Seattle to be an expansion team, and for them to win 9 games 2 years in a row within 78 and 79 was pretty good, man. Pretty good. Like he was the perfect quarterback for them early, right? Let's just fuck around and find out, man. I mean, I would say one of the players, one of the better undrafted players in a sense, because you gotta think, man, it's tough being the starting quarterback on an expansion team. I don't care who the fuck you are. It's never gonna work well for you because you basically throwing players together. You don't know nothing. Y'all don't know nobody. Y'all trying to just make it through year one, and then we'll build from there, right? So that's really what it is, man. But he saw them through some tough times, man. And Jim Zorn actually was a head coach for a while. Um, So he was an offensive assistant at Boise, quarterbacks coach too, offensive coordinator at Utah State, and then gets let's see, he goes to Minnesota to be the quarterbacks coach. That's college. Then he gets back into the NFL in the late '90s with the Seahawks, and then um, he gets the quarterback's coach job with Detroit, and then returns back home to the Seahawks, man, and sees them through their Super Bowl run in 2005. Um, and then gets the head coaching job at Washington, man, which wasn't necessarily the. It wasn't like I don't know. I ain't feel like that was like the hire I was expecting. I wasn't expecting that shit. He was he had seen them through some good stuff. But that's the kind of hire that this owner, Daniel Snyder, that's the kind of stuff he would do. He would just hire anybody, bro. Anybody. He would hire anybody. He would sign anybody. Don't even fit the team scheme. That's how crazy that was, man. But it ain't work out. It was like a one and done type of thing, and then he was out of there, man. It wasn't fair. But he ended up landing on his feet with Baltimore and everything else, and then he was with the XFL, with the Seattle Dragons and everything. So he did some good stuff, man. He did some good stuff, but he was important. But I tell you who else was important, bro. And one of the greatest receivers to ever play in the NFL. I want to introduce y'all to Steve Largent. Steve Largent, fourth round pick, 1976. This guy was a premier route runner. He had the greatest hands. He gave up his body to catch everything. Like he took route running and made it into a science almost. No matter what it was, out route, comebacks, go routes, post corner, go routes. The crossers? It don't matter. He ran them all perfect. And when you think about Steve Largent, you got to look at these numbers, man. Steve Largent in year one on an expansion team, might I add, came out the gate gunning. Not gonna beat you over the top like that, but you had to stay with him in coverage. And when I say I would venture to say that he's a part of the route running extraordinaires that we started to see throughout the 80s. The guys that, of course, you got your speed guys, man, but you start to see the technicians kind of take shape. The people that caught 100 passes, 80 passes, 90 passes, right? Always in motion. Started with Steve Largent, man. Like he was legit, legit, man. I mean, year three, he was already probably one of, if not the best receiver in the league. Like he's at least top five in the league, and that's year three. Steve Largent was a legend, man. Like he is a legend. I mean, look at them numbers, man. 13,000 yards, man. 100 touchdowns. Like, how many years did he catch 1,000 yards? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Eight. And if he played all the games in 87, that would have been nine. 100 touchdowns, Pro Bowls, all pros. Like, led the league in receiving twice. Like nasty work. Nasty. He was giving people the business, man. And he won Walter Payton Man of the Year too. So like giving back. I love to see what he did in college, man. 1,000 yards. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing, bro? 500, 800, 14 touchdowns, 1,000 yards, 14 touchdowns. Like, what are we doing? Disgusting, filthy. One of the best. One of the best, man. And I think he ran for office too. So he ran for like governor or congressman or something like that in Oklahoma. So he was good. All right, so they haven't really hit on defense yet. So I don't really know per se what was done on defense because they ain't got there yet. They, like I said, they literally just started playing and they weren't necessarily there yet defensively, but they do pick up some pretty good defensive players. Now I want to know how. I want to see something else. How long did he play with Seattle? So he didn't get a chance to play. He didn't get a chance to play with Cortez Kennedy, but he did get a chance to play with Easley. I want to say Kenny Easley, who was one of the best safeties in the game. And I think his career was cut short because of injury, but he had a good run, really good run. So we're gonna talk about that when we get into the 80s. But Steve Largent started, the new era of Seattle football, man. And technically they were a new team anyway, but he was the face of the franchise, man. And he got them through some tough times, man, with his electric route running and his, willingness to really give his body up to really win some ball games, man. And for him being, as small as he was, he played a whole lot bigger than what you think, man. And I love that shit. So shout out to Steve Largent, man, Hall of Fame. Shout out to Jim Zorn, man. Like saying, fuck it. We gonna suck, but we gonna give it our all. And I like that shit. So, like I said, man, that was the good per se expansion team. But let's talk about the other expansion team. So the other expansion team in 1976 was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, coached by John McKay, um, who had a pretty good run in college. I want to say, yeah, at Southern Cal. Now I'm not sure what I'm not sure. Hold up, I gotta see some shit. But I want to say he's responsible for having at least hmm, three three Heisman winners. Three, because Mike Garrett won a Heisman, 65. OJ won the Heisman, 68. And if I'm not mistaken, Ricky Bell won a Heisman. No, he did not. He finished third in the Heisman in 75, though. But that was Archie Griffin, okay. But Ricky Bell was like the first overall pick, though. So, yeah. So, you got some Rose Bowls. I don't know. Dang, I don't think he got. Did he get a national title? No. No, he didn't get no national title. But they lost in the bowl game, so no. I don't think he got no national title though. Coach of the year though. Bowl wins and shit. But um yeah. Ron Uri, one of the best. Lynn Swan, one of the best. Yeah. Yeah, but I remember Ricky Bell. I thought he had won a Heisman, but he didn't. But yeah. But John McKay, took on the challenge. And the challenge was trying to start something with the Buccaneers. I mean, like trying to build him a team. Um, trying to build him a team, man. I love this logo though, man. Oh my god, that's chef's kiss. I love it. I love the uniforms too, to be honest with you, man. They were slick. Team was bad, but still good though. You know. And there's a notable name on this staff as well. That is Wayne Fontes. Wayne Fontes coached the Lions when Barry Sanders was there. Also drafted Andre Ward and didn't play him. Like I chose to play Scott Mitchell. Like we'll get into that shit, but that shit was horrible. It's like why would you do that? Anyway, neither here or there. But Hugh Cloverhouse, like everybody in their right mind, says that he was one of the worst owners in the history of sports, damn near. And I tend to agree. tend to agree. So we'll get into a lot of what happened with them per se, specifically in '79. But he wasn't that good, bro. But they lost every game this year. They did. They lost every game, and Steve Spurrier was the head. Was the quarterback. It wasn't good, but he definitely wasn't bad either. But like, come on, man, it's an expansion team. You ain't gonna be able to do shit. Um, so let's see. So they weren't they weren't good, man. They weren't good, but there was important players on this team, right? And one of those important players, we'll go back down to defense, was Leroy Selman. Leroy Selman also had some siblings that were pretty good too out of Oklahoma, right? But Leroy Selman was Mr. Buccaneer, man. He was their first pick ever. And he was good, dog. He stayed with the team for his whole career. Saw them through the good, saw them through the bad, saw them through rebuilding, rebranding. Like he was Mr. Buccaneer. And, he had a good career, man. What can you say? Being the face of the franchise, it's just what it was. It's just what it was. He was that good. And they built around him. Um, and they did their thing. They did their thing, man. So shout out to the Buccaneers, but boy, this season was rough, man. This was a rough season, man. But they got their bones. So let's talk about the teams that did do good, though. So Burt Jones is MVP of the league, and the Colts are in the playoffs, right? Joining them from the AFC East is the New England Patriots, right? Who had a good season on offense and defense. Um, and I would venture to say that Sam Cunningham had a good year. So that's good. I'm thinking they had John Hanna on this team too. Yeah, I want to say they had John Hanna on here too. But I can check out the damn roster real quick. I want to say they had John Hanna on here, man. Yeah, they had John Hanna on here. Yeah, John Hanna was a beast, bro. He's a beast. Alabama. Yeah, he was good as hell. But they make the playoffs as a wild card. Pittsburgh wins the Central, of course. Oakland is actually the best team in the league. They are 13-1. So they take care of business. And they take care of business. And their only loss was to New England. And boy, they got the shit beat out of them. That was disgusting. Jesus. That was disgusting, dog. That was nasty. That's the only loss, man. Only loss. Ken Stabler was okay, but like they couldn't stop Cunningham. They couldn't stop the run. Daryl Stingley. I want to say that's Derek Stingley's dad. Yeah. So he had some yards in the game too. Merlin Briscoe had some yards. Like they got told the fuck up in this game, bro. Like they did. They got told up. Yeah, but that was their only loss, bro. They could have been undefeated, bro. They could be undefeated, but it probably woke them up though, because they ain't lose no more games the rest of the season, man. So yeah, but they lost that game, bro. Calling me, man. Call me later. Shit, trying to work here, man. Shit. All right, the Cowboys win the East, and the Vikings win the Central, and the Rams win the West. So let me see the Rams. Hold up. Let me see who the Rams got. They got Chuck Knox. It's still Ron Jaworski. So they had like a 3 quarterback system. Shit. Pat Hayden won. They got like rookie of the year votes and shit. Lawrence McCutcheon had a pretty good year too. So yeah, they had a pretty good team, man. That's interesting. The Rams have a pretty good like running back lineage, man. If you think about it. Think about it real hard though. If you add McCutcheon to it, right? Because he was pretty good. You had Eric Dickerson, Marshall Faulk, Steven Jackson, um, Todd Gurley. So yeah, they got a pretty good lineage of running backs, man, with the Rams history, bro. But the wild card representative is the Washington Redskins, man. Just beating out the Cardinals. Of course, the Buccaneers are the worst team in the thing, man. So, but the draft, Leroy Selman, Mike Haynes, Richie Todd, Muncie, right? Some good players there. Archie Griffin, we talked about him. We also talked about who else on that list, man? Mike Barber. He played to 85. Dewey Selman. Leroy Selman's brother. I told you he had some brothers that were pretty good too out of Oklahoma, man. So, yeah. And he got drafted by Tampa Bay too in the second round. So, there you go. Nice. Um, Let me see. So the Giants begin their run. The Giants start to see some names on here. So Harry Carson, who became one of the greatest linebackers to play this game, was drafted in 76. They ended up drafting some other guys that become very good too. But you can see they starting to figure some shit out in New York, man, after years of not doing shit. So, all right, we starting to see a change, man. Obviously, Steve Largent, we talked about him. So, yeah, man. Yes, sir. So, I like seeing shit like that. All right, so let's get it. Let's get it. Let's talk about this playoffs, man. Let's talk about this playoffs. Let's get there. Let's get there, man. So, 1976, December 18th, we go to the divisional round of the playoffs, man. We have the Washington Redskins taking on the Minnesota Vikings. This was a bloodbath, man. It was nasty. The Redskins really couldn't do nothing. They couldn't stop the run, and they couldn't run their damn self. This was done. Billy Kilmer, one of the most underrated quarterbacks of his generation, but he won a lot of games, but didn't do enough. And they got torched in this one. 35-20. Nasty, nasty work, man. Vikings move on to the next round, man. So, Oakland seemed to have trouble with the Patriots this season because not only is that they only lost this season, they struggled to win this motherfucking game, bro. This game was lit. Oh my God, this game was lit. Okay, so hear me out. So you got Chuck Fairbanks, right, going against John Madden, who at this point he's had some rough playoffs, right? Including losing to Pittsburgh a bunch of times and then losing to the Dolphins, right? As they continue, I think their undefeated season, right? So some playoff woes is getting our old John Madden right now, right? But 76 was different. I don't know what happened, but they won 13 games and only lost one. They was on fire, right? But New England had their number this year, and they almost got them. So let's talk about it, right? As my man Trick Williams would say, let's talk about it. So, Patriots start off the game, touchdown, 7-0, right? Then Raiders get a field goal. Ken Stabler finds the Biletnikoff man himself for a touchdown, right? So now they go into halftime up 10-7, right? The Patriots said, hold my beer. They score 2 touchdowns in the third, right? And now they up 21-10. You know, if I'm Brandon and I'm alive at this time, right? I'm happy as a motherfucker because we about to beat the Raiders and we about to whoop Ken Stabler ass, right? Knowing he's a LSU guy, right? He would probably be like, man, fuck Ken Stabler, right? Because guess what? He a LSU guy. And he like, I'm riding with Burt Jones, right? In this alternate universe, that's how Brandon would probably be talking, right? But that's why they call him the snake, man, because he wiggled his way out of this one, man. And boy, the Raiders get 2 touchdowns in the fourth, playing good defense, stopping them, and they pull it out late. Pause. I'm just playing. They pull it out late, and they get the victory 24-21, man. Interesting shit right here, bro. interesting shit right here, man. That's pretty damn cool. That's pretty damn cool, man. Kenny Stabler with a 1 yard rushing touchdown, bro, to win the game. Like, that's crazy. I wish they had the play by play on here, bro, just to see how that drive went. That shit was crazy, bro. That shit crazy. I wish they had the play by play on here, bro. That would be crazy. We got Ray Guy on that motherfucker just kicking the ball like hella far and shit. But this was a lit game, bro. I can't even hold you. All right, so Pittsburgh just dog walked the MVP of the league, bro. I'm sorry, man. That's the best I can say. Okay. I love me some Burt Jones, man, but yo, this it wasn't it, man. But that's just what the Steelers do. I told y'all if you watch episode 4 or part 4 to about 7, I'm gonna tell you this to the end of time. You have to go through Pittsburgh if you want to win a championship. Either division, either conference, don't matter. You have to go through Pittsburgh to win. And they put the whooping stick on him. Terry Bradshaw, who had kind of a regular season, like nothing too crazy, just like, all right, we playing, this what we doing, whatever. It ain't like too crazy. It's not his best season by any means. And they still win. They still win, and they still win pretty convincingly, right? I mean, they hold Baltimore to 71 yards rushing, which isn't necessarily a terrible thing. But when you're down as much as they were down, that's it, man. But what's crazy is this game was close. This game was close, man. Like going into the second quarter, I mean, it's 9-7. I'm not sure what happened, but the bottom fell the fuck out. And that was it. Between Terry Bradshaw playing like MVP of the Super Bowl, Terry Bradshaw, that's over, bro. That shit was done. Done. And like I said, man, Franco Harris is probably one of the greatest postseason running backs ever, bro. Every year they've been in the playoffs, he giving somebody 120 plus. And it ain't stopping this one either. And Reggie Harrison gave him 2 touchdowns in the playoffs, right? Unsung hero, right? Lynn Swan giving you 77 and 2 touchdowns. You know, like just nasty, bro. That's just an ugly ass game, bro. That's just ugh. I feel bad for Burt Jones, man. I went MVP and then this shit. But and they was at home. Like that's what made it even worse. They was at home in Baltimore. Oh, nasty work. All right. So, in surprising or non-surprising fashion, the Rams have this defensive game. I mean, they literally stop Dallas in their tracks, man. I mean, Dallas couldn't run, they couldn't pass. And to be honest, the Rams couldn't pass either. Pat Hayden did not have a good game, man. But you know what they did do? They ran the fucking football. And that's how you win around this time, man. If you can run, you can win. And Cowboys couldn't do that shit. But this was what you expected from the Rams, man. They got the number 3 defense in the league, scoring defense wise, and they good as hell. And they stopped Tom Landry, man, and they beat them on the road. So that was a big game. So let's get into championship weekend. Championship weekend, December 26, 1976, man. We're about to bring in the new year with some football, man. So let's get into it, man. So the Rams, you know, their Super Bowl chances running out, man. They didn't get it done. Minnesota, take them down, man. You got Pat Hayden trying to bring them back. They couldn't do it, right? Sammy Johnson gets a touchdown run, and that seals it in the fourth, man. So Pat Hayden, I mean, look, legend, USC athletic director at one point. It's just tough, man. I mean, McCutcheon gave him 100, right? But once again, turnovers will lose you every time. They will make you lose every time. You have to take care of the football, man. And when you have, you know, 4 turnovers to a team's 2, no matter how much you outgain them, you're not going to win. Fran Tarkenton had 1 turnover, right? But that's all they needed. That's all they really needed. And quite frankly, I think the Rams were the better team in this situation, man. Even though they were on the road, I think the Rams were better if you're looking at defense, man. To have like the number 3 defense, and well, I take it back. They were not the better team, especially on defense, because the Vikings had the better defense, right? But I still think, man, the fact that they were able to like hold the Cowboys under them, I'm thinking they might be able to win this game if they just take care of the football. But then again, you got to look at the situation where Pat Hayden is like a rookie going against Fran Tarkenton at this time, who's a fucking like 18-year vet almost. Like he's like a 16-year vet trying to get his first Super Bowl. So like I don't think you could expect them to do anything, but still they had a better offense than them, specifically running the ball. So I don't know what happened, man, but I guess experience sometimes wins, man. But the Vikings win this, and they're going to the championship game. They're going to the Super Bowl, should I say. So, now we get into the good shit, okay? We get into the good shit. The AFC Championship game, 1976, December 26th, 1976, man. So, if you been watching the series so far, I have to reiterate, nobody wins a championship without going through Pittsburgh. Period. It doesn't matter who you are. Even if you beat Pittsburgh, you still got to go through it. And they had to beat Pittsburgh. I don't care if it's on the road or at home. You got to go through Pittsburgh. If you Dallas and you win it, the NFC, you got to go through Pittsburgh to get your championship. Don't matter, right? Somebody got to go through Pittsburgh to win. Don't matter who you are, right? And I'll refresh everybody's history just in case you didn't see the last episode, right? But the Steelers have had Oakland's number in the playoffs for a number of years at this point, right? This is the premier rivalry of this decade, right? You got the Oakland Raiders who got everything they need, but they can't seem to beat Pittsburgh. Don't know what it is. Pittsburgh just knows how to win. I think for one, it's Pittsburgh, their mindset of not turning the ball over. I think that's what gets them to beat Oakland so many times, because Oakland got Hall of Famers, Pittsburgh got Hall of Famers. So when you're not turning the ball over, that is the key to everything, right? But I say this to put this in context, all right? So Oakland loses to Pittsburgh 72, right? 73, they beat Pittsburgh, but then they lose to the Dolphins, who were the better team at that time. 74, Oakland loses to Pittsburgh, and 75, they lose to Pittsburgh, right? So this is basically what? honestly, they've lost the chance to go to the Super Bowl 3 straight seasons at this point, right? So 73, well, 2 straight, well, 3 seasons. So 73, they lose in the conference championship to Miami. 74, they lose in the conference championship to Pittsburgh. 75, they lose in the championship game to Pittsburgh, right? So the eventual champion, Oakland, has lost to because Miami won in 73. Pittsburgh's won back to back championships at this point, right? So I say all that to say that Oakland has a Pittsburgh problem at this point, right? At this point, what do you need? What else do you need if you're Oakland right now? What do you this is your best chance to get them. Terry Bradshaw's having the down season. What do you do to beat these guys? And I would love to know what was going on in John Madden's head. Like, yo, I have to beat these guys. What are we doing wrong? What are we doing wrong? Like, what happened to the point where we can't beat them? But you know what they did in 1976? They beat the shit out the Steelers, bro. They beat them up, man. They beat them up, man. What got into them in this game, bro? I'm not sure what happened in this game, but the Raiders said, hey, we standing on business. They ain't beating us again. And that's what exactly they did, man. So Pittsburgh, I mean, you look at the game, the Raiders come out fast, right? They get field goal, touchdown. We take it into halftime, 10-0, right? But nobody's excited because you already know how Pittsburgh is. Nobody's excited about that. I wouldn't be. Nope. So Steelers get a touchdown, but Ken Stabler said, watch this. And he gets another touchdown. And then just for good measure to make sure that the Steelers are done this time, he gets another touchdown. 24-7 is the victory. They win at home in the Coliseum. And they going to the Super Bowl. And they ain't been to the Super Bowl in a long time. So the Raiders haven't been to the Super Bowl at this particular time. They haven't been to the Super Bowl since Super Bowl II. And that was 1967. So that's almost 10 years of them trying to get back to the Super Bowl. But they conquered their demon or their bugaboo or whatever in Pittsburgh. And they beat Pittsburgh at their own game. I mean, Pittsburgh really had the running game going against them every time they would lose. Franco Harris would go the fuck off, and that would be over and done with. Zero, zilch. Like, they couldn't stop it. But they beat them at their own game. Pittsburgh turned the ball over, which is very uncharacteristic. But Oakland beat them on the ground. You know, they had a combination of guys doing work. Ken Stabler didn't turn the ball over. And they got after Terry Bradshaw, man. And he threw an interception and he got sacked a little bit, but he was 35 for 14, just mad uncomfortable. And they lost, man. They took this game away. And, you know, this would be Madden's first chance at a Super Bowl. And he did his thing. He did his thing, man. And they would be playing the Minnesota Vikings. And this would mark the 4th time that Bud Grant has been to the Super Bowl, as he's been the head coach of said Vikings, man. This will also be the last time he makes it to the Super Bowl. But he's won the NFC 4 times at this point. But this will be the last time he had an opportunity to get one, man. As the league changes, losing players, the purple people eaters is getting old, right? It's just what it is, the natural evolution of the game, right? New teams come up ready to take your spot. And that's what happened. That's why it's important when you get to the Super Bowl to try to win that motherfucker. Because trying to get back, that shit ain't easy. Especially when your team changes and other team changes. You're not gonna be the same team year after year, right? And that's what happened here, man. Um, Oakland took care of business, man. So we're in Super Bowl 11 at the Rose Bowl. So we're in Cali, baby, right? So from the jump, Oakland like set the tone, man. We scoring on everything. We scoring on everything. It don't matter, you know. We're scoring on everything. Everything. It don't matter what it is, bro. So they end up getting a field goal, right? Second quarter, early on, right? And then Ken Stabler, middle of the second, touchdown, Dave Casper, right? Minnesota gets a touchdown. No, I lied. That's not Minnesota. He played with the Raiders. Raiders get another touchdown. 16 nothing, right? Now, we in the second quarter, well, we in the second half, and they still ain't did shit. It's 16-0, right? Then we get into the third quarter. It's 19-0. Oakland is not playing with these dudes, man. Not playing. Now, Fran Tarkenton gets a touchdown, so they break into the game, but that's at the end of the third, and by that time, you just running out of time, bro. You know, and then the Raiders add another touchdown, done. And then Fran Tarkenton, and the famous play that's played on all of the NFL films, Old Man Willie intercepts the pass and runs for a touchdown. I love that shit. And he was moving too. Touchdown. And you seen John Madden jump up and down, bro. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss, man, to cap off your first Super Bowl. And Fran Tarkenton gets intercepted, man. But it's a touchdown. And that's pretty much it, man. I mean, Oakland, what is that? Minnesota ends up getting another touchdown, but at that point it's over. It's over, man. It's over and done with. And that's done, man. Willie Brown, Hall of Famer, Oakland for a long time. And he finally got to see it all, man. Although he did win an AFL championship, though. But still counts. Like, you got a Super Bowl, bro. But this was nasty, man. I mean, Minnesota, like, in every Super Bowl that Minnesota has lost, man. So they just were not the better team, bro. Like, I can't say they just got beat, man. I mean, the Chiefs got them and they couldn't run the ball, right? Then you go to 73. You go to 73, right? And the Dolphins, too much. They couldn't run the ball. Then you go to Pittsburgh in 75 or in 74. They couldn't get nothing going on offense. The Steelers, they shut them down. 17 yards on 21 carries. Nothing. And then you go to 76, and it's like the same thing. You can't get offensively going. Nothing. Turnovers, you can't run the ball and you can't pass the ball. Like, and the other team's constantly in attack mode. Like, that's every Super Bowl that they lost, they were pretty much destroyed in, man. And that sucks, bro. That sucks because they had some good ass teams, bro. But that is 1976, man. The Oakland Raiders are your Super Bowl champions. And honestly, this is one of the better teams in NFL history, if you ask me. Like, they got one of the best records in NFL history. Like, points per game is crazy. Like, they beat everybody ass pretty much, bro. There's some close games in there, but 25 points a game, bro. It's crazy, right? It's one of the better teams in NFL history, honestly, bro. I don't know where it ranks in teams of all time, but the 76 Raiders is pretty damn good. They was pretty dominant, man. And they was dominant wire to wire, too, man. They didn't really fluctuate too much. And they got it done, man. So, let's check out, who was drafted in 77 before we get in there, right? So we got some people to talk about, baby. Yes, we do. We got some people to talk about. Baby. And this shit gonna be fun, man. We're gonna talk about 1977, baby. 1977. Let's talk about it. On the next one, baby. On the next one, man. So I want to say thank you to everybody who's going to see this when it comes out, man. I hope you enjoy my enthusiasm. I hope you enjoy going through time, man, and talking about the NFL, man. But we closing in on the end of the series, man. I can't believe it. It's been a long ride, man. I definitely didn't want it to go this particular long, but I will say I appreciate y'all for staying with me this long, man. But I will catch y'all on the next one when we talk about 1977. Good year too. Peace.